Hey guys, how are you guys doing today? If you are joining my live stream, thank you so much for joining. As you know, I have been working on my game engine for a long time, and you know, now and then I go live on YouTube just to share with you how the development of that game engine is going. If you actually are a new game engine developer and you want to learn how to develop your own game engine, feel free to ask any questions in the chat. I'll be happy to help you out. Um, the only thing that if you want to comment in the chat, you have to be a subscriber. So make sure to subscribe and also like the live stream. All right, guys. So, um, hey, Sarthak, how are you doing? Thank you for joining the live stream, dude. All right. So, what I want to share with you guys today is some of the changes that I have been working on with the engine. I added the ImGui library, which basically will allow you to have your own editor in the engine. And that is working quite cool. There's so many things that you can do now. So let me run the engine actually, so you can actually see it. Let me just minimize this. So what I want to do today is I want to work on adding the functionality to be able to load and save the models that are in the scene into a particular file, so that way whenever you fire up the engine, all of those models will be loaded for you automatically, and you can also save them, right? So here's the engine right now. You have all of this. I can actually add like the different assets like the bleachers, and you will see everything that is being added here. Obviously you can also modify the models here, change the stuff. You have a play, a pause, and a reset button, right? Basically, these are so whenever you are ready to test on your game, you can play, and basically the whole update method will be enabled, and then everything related to the physics, collision, animations, all of that will be enabled at that time. So you can see everything working, and also you can pause it, right? In case you want to pause everything. So this is looking, it's good. I'm still in the early stages of the, adding the, ImGui. I'm learning about it actually quite a lot. So now what I want to do is I want to add the functionality for you to be able to load and save whatever is in the scene at that moment, right? Right now, if I would close the engine, everything will be lost. So I want to wait, to be able to save what I have, right? Let's say I want to, I decided to add, the field goal here, and I may have to rotate, right? Let's say I want to add the field goal here. When I load this, it will show up, right? If I want to also show the bleachers, boom, it will show up, right? So I want to be able to save this, right? And then load them up. Now, how do I save this? Well, when I click save, all of this data from the models will have to be saved into a file, which I was planning to use JSON, but I realized that's going to be too bloated. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to convert everything to binary format and then load it into the file. And then to be able to save it into the file. And then whenever I want to load it, I'll just read whatever the content is in the binary file and recreate all of these models. Now, for you to do that, you are going to need to implement a factory class, and the factory class will be in charge of determining the class of the particular object, and it will create the object for you, right? You don't have to type it out anymore. Basically, before the editor, you would have to go into the code here, and basically, into the edit world here, and basically, state out, what you want to load into the engine and everything. And you can see some examples here, right? So I want to add the factory, right? And to be able to load and save. Now, this, early in the morning, I was able to add the factory into the engine, and I called it the for the entity factory. And basically, what it does, depending on the on whatever I have registered into the engine, and what I mean by register, I mean the classes that I have registered. For example, right here, I initialize my entity factory, and then I register different classes. I register a class for player, a class for the field, and a default class for you for the model. Now, what I do then, as just a simple example here, right here, here's where I register the classes. But then here I set up a simple map, right? And I basically map, right, telling the engine, look, if the name of the model that you see is called opposite player 0, that belongs to the class view for the model. Right? If the name of the player is 0, then that belongs to the player class, etc. So now when I go and enable the factory class to create the models for me, the factory class, what it does, it will look at the type of the model, and depending on the type, it will create the particular model, right? So it basically matches, right? When it says player 0, say, okay, player 0 should be of type player. So I'm gonna go and execute whatever is in this class, right? For the other things, right? If it's a field class, then I'm gonna go execute whatever the properties, the class of field, etc. And here's basically my the whole factory in action. So right now when I load this, right, when I play this, it's basically what you see here, right? So here's, this guy, which is player 0, is of class of type player, etc. So this is what I have as of now. And let me answer some questions that I have in the chat. So Sarthak is asking, is my day job a game engine developer? No, it is not. I just work on my game engine as a hobby. I do that whenever I have some free time during the day, either early in the morning or late in the at night. Like right now, this is a time where I have some time to work on it. But like I do work as a full-time engineer. So this is my way out, right? My way to just relax and stuff like that. All right. So what I want to do now, right? Again, right? What I want to do, I want to add the flexibility for the game developer to select whatever asset they have here, for example, the model ball, and be able to select the class that this particular model belongs to, so that the factory knows exactly how to create that particular instance of that particular class. So what I want to do right now, I basically want to add like a drop down menu that will show all of the registered classes that are registered into the factory, right? Into my entity factory. So by doing that, right, if I have a drop down menu here, I will be able to basically tell the engine, look, this model right here is of type whatever, and create it depending on that type, right? So basically we'll call that particular class and create an instance of that class. So that's what I want to do. Now, this is ImGui, right? And ImGui, I don't know if how much experience you have with ImGui. It's a really nice library, but it can be a little bit confusing to grasp. So many statics variables, man. Like you have to keep track of. So I want to add some drop-down menus. So that's what I want to do right now. So here I have the ImGui example, right, that I downloaded from the GitHub page. And I'm going to run this, and basically I'm going to see how the drop-down menu works, and then try to implement that in my game engine and see if we can get that working. So let me run the example that they have here. All right. All right. So let's look at the widgets that they have because what I want is something like basic. Let's see, combo. Look, this is something that I want. Can I select this? Okay, cool. So where would I find this then? Basic combo. One line of the combo API. Refer to the combo section below for an explanation of how to use the. Refer to the combo section. Let's do a search for that. Refer to the section below. What? I'm trying to find that. And I don't have it. All right, let's see if I can find it like this. I'm basically looking for any example on how to set up the combo. Sarthak is asking how long have I been working on the engine? Do you work with others as well? Maybe through GitHub or something. So I started working on the engine way back in 2013. I started, from scratch. I knew nothing about game engine development. I knew nothing about OpenGL, computer graphics. Basically, I was a complete newbie in all this, right? So I thought myself, OpenGL, computer graphics, what happened with, wow, it crashed on itself. All right. So it took us some time for me to, to get up, to get the engine going. But basically, to answer your question, I've been working on it since 2013. It's been a long time. But the engine is coming along quite nicely. I actually published a game not long ago, a soccer game. It's still in beta version, so you cannot find it in the App Store because I only it's only available to selected number of users. But I was able to develop a game with my game engine, which is cool, right? And now, do I work with others as well? No, I do not. I do this all by myself. I do have a Discord server for game engine developers. If you want to join, you're more than welcome. I believe the description should be the link should be in the description below. Now, I'm going to start accepting contributions very soon, mainly on GitHub. But I want people to help me contribute with the editor, ImGui. As you can see, it can be a little bit confusing to use this. So, and to be honest with you, I don't really like the editor. I mean, like I don't have that talent to design a nice looking editor. I'm more of a just give me the API and I know what to do. But to make it look pretty and cool and stuff like that is something that is not my passion. And that is one of the reasons why I hold off on doing the editor for such a long time. Number one, I wanted to make sure that the foundations of my game engine were solid, like the rendering, collision physics, were solid before I went ahead and spend time on the editor, because just the editor is going to take you a long time to get everything nicely working. So, yeah, I already published a game, a small soccer game. It's a mobile soccer game with my game engine. Um, so again, it's not in the app store. It's right now it's in beta testing. People can actually I did a video like 2 weeks ago where I show, I share everything about the game. You can look it up actually. It's called publishing my video soccer game with my game engine. If not, I can send you that link if you cannot find it. All right, let's do this. Let's see, where can I find this combo stuff? All right, I think this is the one. All right, yeah, I think this is the. All right, so to initialize a combo is ImGui combo. That's the name. This is, I'm assuming. Okay, this is just the current item. This is the array of the current items. I wonder if I can do something like a vector instead. All of them have to be const char. Gosh. See combo section for examples on how to use the more flexible combo. So are you also working on your game engine, Sarthak? And I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. Let's keep looking for more examples here. 3 node. Your selection data could be an index, a pointer to the object, an ID for the object, a flag. So here are the items. Again, I wonder if I'm hoping I can do a vector because I don't want to use an array, obviously. Okay, so this is where they store the labels to preview before opening the combo. I'm like making games more than making a game engine, so I use Unity. Oh, okay, cool, man. See, actually, the reason why I like making game engines is because as a game developer, I suck. I don't have that talent to make a game interesting. I really don't have that talent to to just make a game fun. I've tried, but I think that game developers have a talent that I do not have, right? And and I prefer working on the game technology, like a game engine. I have fallen in love with that. It's something I think I like doing it. Um, and I think I can do this until I die, man. But game development, my problem is that I don't know, I do not know how to make a game fun. If you tell me what you want the game to do, if you explain to me the mechanics that you want me to implement, I can do that, man. But aside from that, it's not something that I really enjoy doing because again, I just nah. All right, so let's see this one. I want to see this one in action. Using the generic combo, begin combo. Combo widgets with boxes. See, this is the problem with this. I wish there would be some kind of different way that the combo here. All right, so this is the one that I'm thinking I'm referring to, which is this one, combo one. Okay, so it's this one. Okay. So it's gonna look something like that, and I can actually specify the name for the combo. All right, cool. So, okay, let's take this as an example. And we are basically going to do this. All right, what I'm going to do first, just for the heck of it, I'm just going to basically copy this and put it into my engine again, but I want to modify it. But since I'm learning ImGui as well, I don't want to do any, weird stuff yet with it. So let me go where I actually implement the rendering path for the for ImGui. One thing that you need to keep in mind when you are implementing ImGui in your engine, you want to make sure that it has its own rendering path, or else you may have issues. I was having some issues. So, all right. So just for the heck of it, just for right now, I'm not going to care where I'm gonna have where I put this, because right now I'm more in the testing type of mode than anything else. So let me do ImGui begin, and then I'm just gonna call this factory class. Let's call it like this, register classes, just for the heck of it. All right, and I'm gonna put everything in here. What do flags refer to? All right, let's do this. All right, I think I don't need this guy anymore, so I can just close this one. All right, so let's see. Once I get this going, I'm going to start modifying it. So hopefully it's not a big deal. And if you are, again, right, if you want to know how to develop your own game engine, feel free to join my Discord server, guys. We have about 478 members now developing their own game engine. So, join us. If you have any questions on game engine development, just post your question there. I'm sure, we can help you. There are people there who know more about game engine development than I do. So, I have learned a lot from my own Discord server. So, if you want to join, you're more than welcome. All right, come on, let's do this. Okay, so let me see where I can find. Oh, here it is. Okay, cool. So we have our combo. Boom, with all of that. All right, that's not exactly what I want, right? All right, number one, I do not want this array. All right, what does this do? This is the item to the current index. And I think that's what is selected here, items, boom. Okay, boom, boom. All right, so let's see if I can do this. This is a const char. So let's see if I can do something like this. Vector, strings, and let's do this. Hi there, world. whatever. All right. Now uh, let's call the items vector. Okay, so I initialize my vector. Now here my combo label. What does this do? Label to preview before opening the combo. So, okay, so I'm going to comment this out just to keep it there for a reference. But what I can tell is, since I am not going to be using items as an array, I'm going to actually change it to this. What this is going to ask me for is something like at item index. What did I do? And I need to get string to that. Okay, cool. So now that will give me the const char. Now here is what it's going to be complaining about for n equals to 0, and now here I'm just getting the size of my array, so of my vector items, that size, blah blah blah. Now here what I do, I just do this, boop, add, and all right, let's see. Ha 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 ha. All right, hopefully that works. So I should see hi there world as my items, all right? So let's do that. Now, one thing that I've noticed, guys, is that when you're working with ImGui, make sure to use the examples that they provide, because believe me, if you don't use the examples, oh my gosh. Okay, cool. I got this. All right, good. All right, cool. Do you hear that it's really fast compared to OpenGL, or would I consider Vulkan? So I have not used Vulkan at all. I use Metal. That's the Apple API. Now, what I have heard from the members in my Discord server is that Vulkan is very convoluted, right? To do a simple adding, for example, textures, applying textures. For example, I recall somebody saying that it takes a lot of code to apply that texture to a model. So I cannot really say, if it's better than OpenGL because I have not used it. But I can talk about Metal, right? The Metal API. Like, the Metal API is so nice to use. It's so clean, so very simple to pick up. I mean, if you know computer graphics and you actually have experience using OpenGL in the past, Metal is going to be a walk in the park. I was actually able to port my game engine from OpenGL to Metal. I kid you not, like in about 3 weeks. And this is me not knowing anything about Metal, right? But once I picked it up, it was so simple to use, man. Hey, Anup, how are you, dude? Nice to see you here, dude. All right, so what I'm doing right now, guys, if you're new to that chat, I'm basically just adding a factory design pattern to the engine so that the engine it will be able to load and save the models that are shown in the scene, right? So what I'm gonna do right now, I'm gonna play this again, right? What's going to be replacing these options in the drop-down menu are going to be the classes that have been registered uh, with the factory design pattern, right? So whenever I load the engine, right, the factory will be able to identify the models that were saved and the type of of each model, right? Instead of type, you know, of which class it belongs to. So when it creates that instance, you know exactly how to create it. That's why you use the factory design pattern. The factory design pattern will create an instance of a class, without your input, right? It will know exactly how to create that instance, but it needs the class of it to know it, right? So when I want to load all of this, this data with, it's gonna be loaded with classes that have been registered. That's good, man. Being also good, just working hard, man. All right, so let me include my the factory that I worked on this morning. Entity factory, that's the name of it. Now in the entity factory, basically I have this function which is called register class, which I used to register the class that I'm using. But now there's also a map here, a C++ map. A map is basically in C++ is basically a dictionary, right? That has a key and a value. You provide a key and it will give you the value, right? So the map here has the name of the object that is in the scene and the class of the object. So whenever the factory needs to create an instance, it knows exactly how to create it. Do I work with C++ in my day job? No, I do not. Mainly, I used to work with C a lot, but not with C++. Like right now, what we do, we do mainly like data science type of work. We use a lot of algorithm for data science, and so Python. Although I don't consider myself an expert in Python at all. But I have been working with C++ for a long time, and mainly I got really, I want to say I'm really good at it because there's a lot to learn when it comes to C++, but I feel very comfortable with C++ because of working on the game engine, right? It's just the practice of doing it every day has made me very comfortable. I'm still far from an expert because I don't think you can ever get to an expert level when it comes to C++. It's just too much, so much that you need to learn, like so much that you need to know about C++. So all right, so now what I need to do here, I need to actually iterate through this map and somehow be able to get all of the registered classes, right? So let me create here a method that is going to basically return a string and say get registered classes, right? And basically what I'm going to do here, I'm going to, if my computer doesn't crash because I see this going on, I'm going to implement this. Now I don't know what's happening, but all right, cool. One of the reasons why I don't do live streams, more often is because OBS, which is the tool that you use to do the live stream, consumes a lot of, makes my computer very slow. And there have been times that I have not been able to go live because it I'm not even able to launch Xcode because of OBS. So, I think I need to get a new computer. All right, so let me actually iterate through that map. But I'm not going to, you know, reinvent the wheel because I already have this here. So I'm just gonna copy this. So let's see. But I'm gonna go over with you. So basically, the first thing that you need to do is you need to create an iterator that will iterate through the map, right? And then what we need to do is we need to iterate through the map, which as I mentioned. But for this, I need to get the name of my map, which is called Create Action Map. Boom. Map. Think of this as a for function. I'm not for function. Oh my gosh, for loop, right? That's going through a vector. If you want to think of it that way. Let's see. Hold on. This is gonna be different then, because my map, I provide a string and I provide the action. Let's see. And so this is my key. Register class. Let's see. Now this may get confusing, guys. So, God, we're doing some weird stuff here. Register class. I provide. What I'm gonna need to provide here is not the name. Oh my gosh. Yeah, my idea is not gonna work then, because this guy is not being stored as a string. Oh no, hold on. Hi Arlene, how are you, man? How's it going? All right, let's see. My theme model map. Where do I have? I have this store. So, this is what I'm going to be storing in my map from the scene point of view. What I want is I want to be able to retrieve whatever the name of the registered classes that I have here. That's what I want. And how I'm registering is I'm actually providing the pointer to that action, to that method. So here I'm registering the class, which is the name of the Okay, I might need to do something else here. Let's see. So See, this is what happens, right? When you think that a problem is going to be very simple and that you're going to be able to solve it within 1 hour, but then somehow, which happens quite often, you ignore so many of the little details that you didn't take into account, and then you realize that your whole logic may be flawed, that is flawed, and then we were like, oh no, that's not going to work at all. For example, I was under the impression that my map, right, my dictionary, both the key and the value were of the same type of strings. And my idea was to do this, that in the other pass, right, in the ImGui, I would be able to just pull the registered classes into a vector with strings in it, right? So basically here I was hoping to have the name of my classes. But now I realizing that, you know what, that's not going to happen, because the what I'm registering in my class are a bunch of pointers, right? I provide a key, but my value, which is what I want, are not strings. And the problem was because when I was doing the testing earlier in the morning, right, I was able to iterate through the whole map, right? So basically here's my factory, my entity factory. And again, if you don't know what a factory is in game development or in software, a factory is basically a class that will take care of instantiating objects for you, right? So in this my factory here, what I do, I register the different classes that I have, right? I have a player class, I have a field class, and you can actually see them here, and here. And then I have a default class, right? So then what I did as a simple test was, you know what? I'm going to load a scene model. I'm going to create another map with the key and a value, and I'm basically going to load them up, right? And then I'm going to ask the factory, right, which is my factory here, to create an instance depending on the value, on the key that is found in the model map. So here, I iterate through the model map, right? And what I get that type for that particular model, right? And depending on the type, my entity factory is going to create the action, right? It's going to create it for you. What this does is that I no longer have to create the whole model by hand, by saying, just like how I was doing it here. For example, here's a good example where I would create the floor, the field, right? I will create the ground, new model, and then load the model. No, right? I don't have to do none of this anymore. I simply let the factory deal with however with the creation of the map of the object, right? So as you have seen, right, whenever I actually load that, like the engine, the engine calls the factory and it will create, the models depending on the type. That's great. I was hoping to actually be able to have a drop-down menu that will have the classes names and be able to select an object. And I'm going to show you right now what I mean. Once this is loading. My idea was simply this, right? Let's say I want to load the model, this model, the soccer ball, right? My idea was to be able to select the model, the ball, and depending on the class that I have selected here, right, it could be ball, right, or player, whatever class type that I have selected here. Then when I would load the asset, the entity factory would know how to create that instance because I am giving it the name of the model, what I want to create, and I have given it a class. So whenever I ask load the assets, load, create the instance, you know exactly how to create it. But no, it's gonna be more work than that because I need to somehow be able to get the name of that class. So I need to find a way how to store it here. Probably what I can do. You know what? It's not that hard actually. Hold on. Oh no, that's not gonna work either. What I was thinking that probably as I'm registering the class, I do provide a key, but I can also provide a value. I do provide a value here. Okay, what am I missing? Register class. Erlian is asking if I use PBR, physical base rendering. No, I do not. I haven't gotten there yet. You know, you mentioned development, guys, is so can get very complicated that I would recommend you guys to focus on getting that foundation down, right? There's so much work that you have to do that even though I do want to do some physical based rendering, I don't think I'm ready to get there because not long ago, like a couple of months ago, I had to rewrite the whole rendering system because I realized that I was doing several mistakes. So I spent quite a while rewriting the whole rendering system. A couple of weeks ago, I actually removed a lot of code duplication that I had. I ended up, removing a lot of duplicated code and replaced that with C++ templates. That was quite a lot of work to do. I also, decided to go back and improve my collision system and the physics system, right? One big problem that I was doing is that I was using inheritance quite a lot in the engine, and you shouldn't do that. You should use composition. So what I did, I was able to, remove basically how was the name? Decouple the physics behaviors from the actual entity, right? So everything is more composition based. So like I do want to work on physical stuff, base rendering, but man, I don't think I'm gonna get there quite anytime soon. Again, because I'm more focused on making sure the foundation is set, is stable, than anything else. And the more you work on your engine, the more you're gonna see the mistakes that you have been doing, in the past. So many times I take step back and decide to work on the foundation, right? Um, and also keep in mind that I started this in way back in 2013, and I was not an expert in C++ at all. I was learning. I knew very little about nothing about computer graphics basically. So sometimes when I look up my code that I had written way in the past and I see it in the engine, I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to rewrite this. Obviously, because I have learned, right, from all these years, 8 years working on this. So many times when I see problems like that, I go back and spend time fixing it, making it better. So right now the engine is getting better. I like how it's coming, how it's looking. So all right, let's see what I'm gonna do. And it's almost 11:12, so I may have to end the student very soon. But before you go, guys, if you have any questions on game engine development, especially if you're a beginner, can just ask me right now because I can answer them for you. If you are looking for some books on how to get started, let me actually see. Let me share my screen. So let me go to my website so you can actually see some of the books that I recommend you to get. These books actually helped me, develop my own game engine. So I strongly recommend you to get them. You go to my website, you want to see the things I've been working on, and you're gonna see this link called books. It will take you to this article where I actually share with you all of the books that I used to get, to build my own game engine. I share with you the books that that will help you get started, especially to developing your mathematics engine, your rendering engine. Uh, I recommend these two books, and if you want to develop the physics engine, right? The real-time collision detection book is a book, guys, that I recommend you to get it. It's priceless, guys. That book, if you want to develop a collision system in your engine, there's no way you can develop it without this book next to you. This book will it basically has all of the code snippets that you need as reference that you can use to develop the collision detection system. It is a must. This is the other book that actually helped me develop the physics engine, physics for game developers. In the first couple of chapters it will go through a lot of mechanics, physics mechanics, the same type of content that you saw in college when you were learning physics. So it's going to go a lot into the laws of motion and stuff like that. But that is actually something that you need because you're going to apply that into your engine. And then, if you want to get more in depth or want to get more books, here's the list of books that I recommend you to get. So, yeah. And if you want to start developing your own, mathematics engine, I wrote some articles on how to start your own, how to implement vectors in C++, matrices, quaternions, etc. So feel free to to go to my website and check them out. But yeah, all right, guys. So it's almost midnight here. And I do work tomorrow, so I guess I'm gonna call it a day for now. In the meantime, I'm gonna think about how I'm gonna fix this. I didn't think this was. I actually thought it was gonna be a very simple problem to fix, but then didn't realize that the value here in my map. It's not a string. It's actually a pointer. Pointing to a function. Basically, that's what I'm doing, and I don't know how I'm gonna get this. I need to find a better way of how to do this. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining the live stream, but I'm gonna call it a day. I'll see you guys next Thursday. Hopefully, I can, go live on that day. But thank you guys so much, and I'll see you next.